What's up, guys? My name's John. Welcome to Daily Theology. Some good news. The president has put an end to critical race theory training in federal agencies, calling it anti-American propaganda. He said Trump, who's no wimp with words, or sometimes not too careful about his words either, said this is a sickness that cannot be allowed to continue. President Trump tweeted, "Please report any sightings so we can quickly extinguish it." Russ Vought then went to say the taxpayer-funded indoctrination trainings that sow division and racism are over. Under the direction of the President of the United States, we're directing agencies to halt critical race theory trainings immediately. Russ Vought, director of the Office of Management and Budget, wrote a memo informing agencies of Trump's instructions. Essentially, this is something that I think the church needs to take note of, because the very idea is it's a logical fallacy. Do you still beat your wife? Are you still a racist? Essentially baked into the idea of this training of white privilege and these things that are being taught is the idea that you're basically racist. You're just not woke enough to know it. And so good for the president for standing up and saying this is not right, because it is divisive. Now, does this mean that there has been no injustice in the history of this nation? No, not at all. There have been horrible atrocities in the history of this nation, as well as every other nation in the history of the earth. Every nation has had its issues and problems. But the way forward here is love, grace, kindness, forgiveness. The truth of the gospel is what people need right now more than anything. People need to understand that you personally have sinned before a holy God, not somebody else. See, the problem with critical race theory and the churches and people that are kind of buying into this, owning their whiteness, I've seen that for actually like a year or two now, where they're owning their whiteness. This is a terrible idea. There's one race, the human race. And the problem is this. If my sin, if my problems are somebody else's fault, then guess who never has to deal with them? Guess who never has to repent? Guess who never has to take personal responsibility for the fact that the biggest issue in here is me. I'm the issue. And that's why I need to repent and flee the coming day of wrath and the judgment of God. I need to turn from self and sin and to the living God who died on the cross to redeem me as a guilty rebel. So good for Trump for stopping the propagation of this anti-gospel ideology, anti-white, whatever you want to call that ideology. It's a racist ideology. And so is Title IX and some of the other things that just get a free pass. And again, I'm not saying there aren't injustices, but we don't want equality for all in the sense that everyone gets the same everything. We want equal access to opportunities and things like that. But ultimately, this is a terrible, horrible idea that needed to be ended. And churches should really be standing up and saying, look, if you support Marxist ideology and this idea that everyone is not woke enough to know that they're actually a racist, that's a lie. And that's not loving your neighbor to say that everyone is a racist or somehow advantaged because of the color of their skin.